Thank you for joining us, Grace.
Thanks.
Let's talk a little bit about Ipinyou. You're the largest behavioral targeting ad network in China. You've served over 30 blue chip clients with a uniquely valued behavioral targeting ad solutions. You've got 800 medium-sized publishers with page views of 50 million per day. And you provide your clients really proof of ROI, which was something we were just talking about now. But I look at your background, and you came out of Beijing University. You had a degree in law and English literature. You got your MBA at UCLA. You've worked at Procter & Gamble. You've done McKinsey. You did Baby Depot. Where does all that come into, going from all those really interesting businesses into a highly quantitative online advertising business? How did you make that jump?
Sure. First of all, I have to say, David, you have done a great job in interviewing, because we are like only 15 minutes later than the schedule. So excellent.
Well, I got handed
I
that
promise I will
deficit.
be really quick in answering, because I know it's lunchtime. But I want to give you guys a good perspective on what behavior targeting is. So the story comes, I started my career at P&G, so I'm educated and, as an advertiser. And in 2006, I always have a biggest enthusiastic towards the advertising. And in 2006, I was pregnant at the time, and I was in the US, and the only thing I can do is spending time on internet. So literally, I spent the whole year in front of computer and doing everything on internet. So that's the moment I was stunned by how powerful this media is. And then I look back on how internet advertising was done at the time in China, and there was so clear to me that there is huge opportunity out there. So that's when I came back and started this behavior targeting business in China in 2007.
Can you explain for those of us who are not deep into the intricacies of the advertising business, what exactly is behavioral targeting, and why is it so important for online advertising here in China?
Okay, let me first ask a question to the audience. Who loves advertisement on internet? Anybody raise your hand? Okay, see, that's the problem. So as an advertiser, I always believe advertising is a message. It's a very important message to consumers. So when it's matched, that's a very important prerequisite. When it's not matched, it's a disturbance to everybody. So what is behavior targeting does is we will analyze everybody's interest, of course anonymously, and based on the behaviors of this individual. And then we deliver the ad against the interest. So therefore basically the idea is we will analyze the behaviors and then try to profile the individual and trying to understand what he's looking for and what he wants. And then we will match the ad to the individual. So that's the idea.
China is not as concerned about privacy as perhaps some other markets are, but there are different sorts of restrictions on user identifiable information that could possibly affect your ability to build a solid behavioral targeting program. What are those restrictions, and how do you manage to work despite them to associate an ad with an individual?
Right. And actually, when we started this, we have been very cautious about privacy, because coming from the U.S. background, of course we know what happened in the U.S. and people have much higher awareness of privacy. So we have been following very strictly what is the high standards by U.S. So for example, we never collect any personal identifying information, and we only restore information of each individual for a certain period of time. So things like that. And that helps us to build a discipline for this growing segment. So I hope that we will come up with our counterpart in this area to sort of define what is the right discipline for this segment.
There are other companies in the business, China, for example, that's looking to do something like this. If I were one of the majors, if I were, for example, one of the big media buyers, Mindshare, Karat, Zenith, I would probably want to build this capability for myself in-house, and I'd be going to people like Martin Sorrell to help me do this. What is it that's keeping these guys from getting into your business? And when they do, what is it that's going to keep you unique and out ahead of them?
That really is related to different aspects of this business. There are certain aspects that behavior targeting ad network like us do that are not what ad agency want to do. For example, it's very technology heavy business. Although I'm not a technology person, but we are, for example, we are one of the, we're rewarded by the government as a high-tech company, and we have the patent from the government for our ad serving technology. So we are a very technology-driven company. And also there are huge data mining algorithm behind this. So that's something that Mindshare, for example, they were not prepared to do themselves. Therefore, what happened in reality is they are our client. So we are setting up a strategic partnership with Mindshare, OMD, or even down the road that extends to, we're talking about strategic investment, strategic partnership, so that we are playing our role and we help them to serve better their clients. So that's how it works.
You know, I'm not a venture capitalist, okay, but knowing what I know about this industry, I take one look at what you're building and what you're offering, and I would think, and knowing how the guys at WPP and Publici and Omnicom think, it would strike me that at some point, one of those guys is going to come along and say, "Hi, Grace, we'd like you to be part of the family," and offer you an awful lot of money. I mean, is that something that you've thought about? Is that something that you consider as you build the company? Are you structuring yourself so that it might make sense at some point for one of these global advertising giants to come along and pluck you up?
That's the question every single VCs we talk to will ask, right? That's about exit strategy. I think that, you know, it's always possible because what we are doing definitely have a lot of value added to a foreign agency is doing. But we literally believe that this opportunity per se is so big that it can comprehend a large company on its own. I'm not saying we are not going to look at those different opportunities, but I think I'm so into this targeted internet advertising space that I think what we are doing just completely justifies for an IPO company, for example, a listed company, I would say. Yeah.
One last question, and then we're going to release everybody to go to lunch. What are your plans for the future? I mean, and actually, let me focus even more tightly. What is the biggest challenge that you face in growing this business? Is it technological? Is it human resources? Is it educating the client? What is the one thing that's keeping your business from just exploding out of control?
This business is it's a typical scale business. Everything becomes better when the scales improves. So I think I would say there are two aspects to the hurdles. That's something we're working on as well. One is, of course, is capital, right? So with the money, with the enough fund, we'll be able to expand in every single dimensions. The second one, of course, is the market. So there are different tiers of advertisers today in China. I would say there are certain 1/3 of them are very sophisticated, and they know how to measure the internet advertising, and they work with us. They jump to work with us right away, and we have like very long-term relationship. There are certain part of the advertisers are still staying at the banner on the front page of Sina history, so they're still there, and there's a certain level of clients that they really want ROI performance, but they haven't quite figured out how to do that and how to pay for that. So I think there is education to do to the market, to the advertiser, and we are working on that. Yeah.
Great. All right. Well, thank you very much, and thank you all very much. And everyone enjoy lunch, which I think our friend is going to send us off to any minute now. Thanks all.
Absolutely. Thank you, Grace Huang, founder and CEO.